On the night of my coming-of-age ceremony, I was drugged, struggling through the discomfort. I went to find my fiancé, the crown prince, only to overhear his conversation with a maid. I do not believe in a predestined phoenix fate. I only believe in destiny, Lian Yang. I will personally place the empress's crown in your hands. As for Xianxia, after tonight, she will be utterly disgraced and become the laughingstock of everyone. With no path ahead and hell behind, I had nowhere to turn. Trembling, I knocked on the door of my adoptive brother, who was known for keeping his distance from others and maintaining strict self-control. "Brother, I'm hot, I want." My brother's expression darkened as he carried me to the bed, his voice low and hoarse, his Adam's apple bobbing. "Be good, come and take what you want." In my daze, I was roughly thrown onto the bed, my head was spinning, and my mouth felt parched. An inexplicable fire burned within my body. In a daze, I began to fumble with the clothes on my chest. I longed for the cold wind to carry away a hint of the burning sensation. I also hoped to press against someone's cool skin, to dissipate the fire within me. "Oh, little lady, can't wait any longer. Husband is here to cherish you." The voice of a strange man, reeking of alcohol, exploded in my ear, instantly snapping me back to my senses. "Something's wrong, I've been drugged. Today is my coming-of-age ceremony. Who on earth wants to ruin my reputation completely?" A man is pressing down on me, tearing at my clothes. I bite my lip hard until it bleeds. Only then do I manage to regain a moment of clarity. I pull out the hairpin from my head and thrust it fiercely into the man's neck. Blood gushed forth. The man was gravely injured and unable to move. I pushed him away, clutching my tattered clothes as I desperately fled outside. Only one thought remained in my mind: go find the crown prince, Chu Yuni. 10 years ago, it was widely rumored in the capital that Xianxia, the legitimate daughter of the Jiang family, was born with the destiny of a phoenix. Thus, since childhood, I have been betrothed to Crown Prince Chu Yuni, with the wedding to take place after I came of age. Today is my coming-of-age ceremony, and the Crown Prince attended, staying overnight at the Jiang residence. Unable to bear the effects of the medicine, I endured the itching and heat, stumbling my way to the prince's chamber. He is, after all, my betrothed. If tonight must be the night, better it be him than anyone else. Yet on the window paper, 2 figures were clearly reflected, leaning against each other. Chu Yuni held his maidservant close, whispering words of affection. I do not believe in a predestined phoenix fate. I only trust in the destiny set by heaven. Lian Yang, I will personally place the empress's crown in your hands. As for Xianxia, after tonight, she will be utterly disgraced and become the laughingstock of everyone. Fate is predetermined, and one's reputation is ruined. So it was him, it was actually him. A chill that spread throughout the body suddenly overwhelmed the searing heat spreading across the skin. My eyes were sore and stinging, and my heart ached terribly. Since childhood, I had been told by my family that the crown prince was my future husband. Once I came of age, I was to marry Chu Yuni. For over a decade, I had been preparing every moment to become a worthy crown princess. Dignified and cautious, she never interacted with men outside her family, fearing it would give rise to gossip. Yet, on the day of her coming-of-age ceremony, an unexpected disaster struck. And the one who sought to drag me into the mud and ruin my reputation was none other than the crown prince. Servants in the courtyard heard the commotion and got up to investigate. At this moment, my clothes are disheveled, and I absolutely cannot be seen, but ahead lies hell as well. The waves of the drug inside my body surge relentlessly, leaving no room for even a moment's respite. Now, there is only one choice left before me: go find my elder brother. The side room where my elder brother is staying is not far from here. With him protecting me, I won't let the servants behind me see my awkward state. It's just, I haven't seen my elder brother for 5 years, and we've grown quite distant. He is not my own brother, but an abandoned child my father brought back from the battlefield. If he were to see me in this state, behind me, the voices of the servants grew closer and closer. Inside the side room, Chu Yuni also seemed to sense something unusual. Such a commotion at this moment. Could it be that something has gone wrong with Jiang Xi's matter? Lian Niang, I must go and see. Your Highness, Allow me to help you dress. The woman's coquettish, delicate voice reached my ears. And I could no longer care about anything else. With a determined heart, I turned and left, trembling. I knocked on the door that I had not seen for so long. Almost instantly, the door opened, a chilling breath rushed toward me. I stood at the doorway, feeling uneasy as I gazed at the tall figure before me. It had been 5 years since we last met. My brother's features were sharper than they had been in his youth, yet strikingly handsome. The nose bridge is high and straight, the lips thin as if carved. The moment our gazes met, I couldn't help but shiver. Blood, like hot oil, seeped into the crevices of my bones, causing a tingling itch. Every part of my body felt as if ants were gnawing at it, uncomfortably rubbing the messy hem of her skirt. As soon as she spoke, her voice seemed to drip with moisture. Brother, I'm hot. Her brother, who had always been as distant and cold as a pine on a far-off mountain, stared intently at her. His dark pupils reflecting her disheveled state at that moment, flushed face, dazed eyes, clothes half concealed and half revealed, especially seductive. The door closed. He pulled me into the room. The moment our skin touched, the cool sensation elicited a sigh of contentment. I had no strength left. Clinging to him, I instinctively nuzzled against him, eagerly seeking out this rare coolness. From outside the door came the servant's voice. Young master, have you noticed anything unusual? My elder brother replied, his voice as cool and detached as jade. Only when I drew closer could I hear the suppressed tremor in his throat. Yes, just a stray cat out hunting. No need to make such a fuss. It was just a cat after all. The servants suddenly understood and scattered like birds and beasts. The danger had passed, and I leaned against Jiang Heng, clutching his lapel tightly, continuously probing inside, greedily seizing the coolness from his body. The white inner garment was crumpled into folds by my hands. The lean, muscular waist honed from years of battlefield campaigns now held a deadly allure, and further down, a muffled groan. My hand was firmly pressed down by him. My heart was beating so fast. In an instant, the world spun, and the skirt fluttered. Jiang Heng carried me to the couch. Gentle and restrained, yet reluctant to leave, he extended his slender hand and felt my forehead. His Adam's apple bobbed. Aki, you're burning up. Are you sick? I shook my head in discomfort. The longer the drug's effects lingered, the more intense they became. An overwhelming tide of desire pressed down on me, leaving me breathless, and I could only plead with him in a tearful voice. Brother, I want to. Reason and emotion clashed, and tears uncontrollably fell. Set against the moonlight, they looked like pearls. Jiang Heng looked at me, his throat tightening, the fingertip, rough with the glint of blades, pressed against my pulse. It rubbed in a way that made one's heart itch unbearably. After a moment, it released, breath slightly stifled, then abruptly drew closer. A cold, crisp pine fragrance filled the nostrils, as a tall figure cast a layer of shadow, and I melted into a puddle of spring water under his protective wing. RCI, you've been drugged. The drug is extremely potent. If you don't find someone to be intimate with soon, it will certainly endanger your life. A hoarse voice reached my ears, like a seductive melody, luring me into its depths. I had no mind to listen to his words, my full attention fixed on those lips that parted and closed. They were thin, with an extremely pale hue, yet utterly enticing. With just a slight lift of my head, I could capture them. I swallowed hard, reaching out to wrap my arms around Jiang Heng's neck. His skin as white as snow, soft and boneless. From his sharply contracted pupils, he saw the hairpin slip away, and the cascading black hair spread casually across the bed. It was like a soul-stealing enchantress, a stark contrast to her usual dignified and elegant demeanor. Her overflowing voice was also soft and tender, losing its usual tone. Brother, I want. Jiang Heng held my waist with one hand, his gaze dark and inscrutable. With his other hand, he caressed my lips, then my earlobe. Every movement teeters on the brink of reason's collapse. The stern demeanor forged from years of battlefield experience is now tinged with desire. All efforts are in vain. After tonight, it will be too late for regrets. Good girl. Aki, if you want something, come and take it yourself. Clothes were scattered all over the floor. Jiang Heng was still asleep, Seeing the marks all over my body and the striking red plum blossom blooming on the bed, I bit my lip tightly, unable to stop trembling. Recalling last night's experience, I am so ashamed that I wish I could burrow into the ground. The potency of the drug was extremely strong, tormenting me for almost the entire night. It seems that Chu Yuni is determined to ruin me, making way for his beloved Lian Yang. I never imagined that the fiancé I had longed for all these years could be so malicious. What's even more unexpected is that the Jiang family's legitimate daughter, usually praised for her self-restraint and adherence to propriety, could be so unrestrained under the influence of the drug last night, especially since it was with her brother, whom she hadn't seen in 5 years. Her life may have been saved, but how will they face each other in the future? And what about the crown prince? My mind was a tangled mess. Trembling, I put on my clothes and carefully got out of bed, not daring to disturb the person beside me. There were already many voices in the courtyard. When the maid came to help with washing and dressing in the early morning, she did not find me in the boudoir. Instead, she discovered a strange man dead by my bedside. The hairpin I wore during the day was still stuck in my neck. Thus, Chu Yuni, who was supposed to leave this morning, delayed his departure. Under the pretext of worrying about his fiancée's safety, he insisted on finding out my whereabouts. It wasn't until I appeared in person that everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Immediately after, countless suspicious and probing gazes fell upon me. The hand in the sleeve tightened slightly. I could only remain calm and respond with composure. If I couldn't explain clearly, it would still damage my reputation. Chu Yuni looked at me, a flicker of surprise and confusion in his eyes, yet his expression remained full of concern. Miss Jiang, where did you go last night? Were you injured? I calmly replied. I was in the mansion last night and was not injured. Thank you for your concern, Your Highness. Oh, Chu Yuni's tone shifted, as if lost in thought. The maid beside him immediately understood his meaning and ordered someone to bring out the body. The corpse was pale, clearly having died from blood loss. My hairpin is still clearly stuck in his neck. In that case, it becomes somewhat difficult to explain. If Miss Jiang has nothing to hide, why avoid talking about this person? You are my fiancé. If you have any grievances, speak freely. I will certainly uphold justice for you. Wronged, if I admit to being wronged, wouldn't that mean I've been taken advantage of by this person? Chu Yuni wore a half-smile, unwilling to miss even the slightest expression on my face. After careful consideration, I was just about to speak. But a man's voice came from behind. That figure stood tall and straight like a sturdy pine or emerald bamboo, enveloped in an aura of sword and blade energy. Positioning himself in front of me to block all the malicious gazes, with just one sentence, he brought a sense of reassurance. Little sister was frightened last night, but fortunately she was unharmed. I have settled her in an empty room in the north garden, and all the attendants around her can bear witness. As for that lecture, it's not appropriate to mobilize troops at night, so we'll deal with it today. Does the Crown Prince have any further questions? Jiang Heng stands 8 feet tall. Blocked behind him, my gaze falls on the slender waist outlined by the jade belt, and I can't help but recall the scene from last night. My mouth feels a bit dry. Chu Yuni curled his lips, not buying it. The Zhenbei General's mansion has rendered great service to the court and is a top-ranking minister. Moreover, there has long been a rumor among the people that I am destined to be the phoenix. If he were to take the initiative to propose breaking off the engagement, it would bring him nothing but harm and no benefit. Only if my reputation is completely ruined can he openly reject this marriage and later marry the one he truly loves. Therefore, he will not easily let go of this opportunity before him. The words spoken became even more pointed. Truly, a general's family produces no weak daughters. Young General Jiang, despite her youth, can achieve military feats and earn merit. My fiancée is no less impressive, a mere woman. Yet she managed to stab a villain to death and escape unscathed. However, I wonder, with the night deep and the wind heavy with dew, how did young General Jiang happen to witness this incident? As soon as these words were spoken, the atmosphere at the scene grew noticeably tense. As is well known, Jiang Heng is an adopted son of the Jiang family and is not my biological brother. Even if there were blood ties, We would still need to maintain a certain distance. If I allow Chu Yuni to label it as a secret nighttime meeting, the rumors will only grow more unpleasant, but if I deny it, I would be contradicting my previous statements. By then, even jumping into the Yellow River wouldn't wash you clean. Yet, my brother showed no trace of embarrassment at his words. Calm and composed, his posture remained upright. He turned back with an open heart and met my gaze. Beneath the long lashes, the eyes were like deep pools, threatening to drown a person. With a gentle hook of slender fingers, he signaled for me to extend my hand, uncertain of his intention. I revealed a small section of my wrist, where a crystal-clear red agate bracelet hung prominently, making my skin appear even fairer. The bracelet was translucent, a deep crimson like blood. Clearly a rare and precious treasure. This bracelet, it definitely wasn't there yesterday. This morning, my mind was elsewhere, and I didn't notice it, so it can only be. Jiang Heng's eyes darkened slightly. Before anyone could get a clear look, he quickly pulled my sleeve down, covering that fair wrist. My little sister is coming of age, and I rushed back from the border to celebrate her birthday. Naturally, I had to personally deliver the congratulatory gift. Fortunately, I returned a bit late. And when I went to deliver the gift, I happened to encounter this incident. The people around them suddenly understood and stopped dwelling on the details. Indeed, the northern frontier is hundreds of miles away from the capital. Precisely because the journey is so long and the border cannot be left without someone in charge, only the young general returned, while the old general couldn't personally come back to celebrate his beloved daughter's birthday. The young general did indeed return quite late yesterday, so that explains everything. With things put this way, Chu Yuni couldn't force the blame onto me and had no choice but to let it go. However, his gaze wandered between me and Jiang Heng, leaving much to ponder. The bond between the young general and Miss Jiang is truly enviable. Since there's nothing else, I won't stay any longer. After seeing off Chu Yuni, the guests who had stayed overnight at the Jiang family also gradually dispersed. The boudoir had already been tidied up. Exhausted from the long night, I returned to my room, my heart just beginning to settle down. The next moment, someone grabbed the doorframe and forced their way in. Just as I was about to cry out, my mouth was covered. A cold, rough kiss descended like a sudden storm. I couldn't push him away. The fist was soft, striking out like cotton. I could only comply. A long time later, Jiang Heng released me, but my legs were already too weak to stand, my breathing unsteady, and I could only rely on the arm around my waist for support. Looking up, I realized the other person's eyes were red at the corners. It seemed more like they were the one being wronged. Aki, leaving without a word, do you regret it? Even if I do, it's too late now. The hand pressed against my waist tightened, the friction igniting a hint of scalding heat. For some reason, something inside me began to feel off again. I took a deep breath, not wanting him to notice anything unusual. Last night, thank you, brother, for saving me. Rescue, it's more like saving myself than saving you. Thank goodness you came to me last night. If you had gone to someone else, I might have gone mad. Jiang Heng gritted her teeth, her expression a mix of grievance and ferocity. It was hard to imagine that the young general, who galloped across the battlefield, could also have such a moment of losing composure. I can hardly connect him with the elder brother I grew up with since childhood. I bit my lip, turning my head away in embarrassment, not because of his words, but the burning sensation inside me is growing stronger and stronger. I fear that if I open my mouth, it will turn into a soft, melodious cry, so embarrassing it makes one want to die. Jiang Heng misunderstood my meaning, thinking I was trying to escape. Her eyes filled with sorrow. Yet she refused to give up. She couldn't bear to see her years of suppressed feelings vanish into thin air. She couldn't bear the thought of not even being able to remain as siblings in the future. Stubbornly meeting my gaze, he told me how much he loved me. Aki, I've liked you for a long time. I knew it wasn't right. So I volunteered to follow my father to guard the border. Unfortunately, even after 5 years of being blown by the winds of the frontier, I still couldn't come to my senses. I don't want to come to my senses either. RCI, I miss you so much. When you came to see me last night, I was so happy I almost went crazy. So happy that I thought it was a dream. He gently touched the bracelet on my hand, revealing a tenderness that didn't match his cold and stern face. This bracelet is a trophy I seized from the royal family of the northern desert. Legend has it that if it is worn by a beloved woman and the feelings are mutual, they will be united in marriage. But if the love is not mutual, the wearer will be cursed and die of a pierced heart. I am not afraid of death, more than death. Not being able to have you is what will make me regret for a lifetime. He rambled on and on. I have no time to listen. My mind is filled with images from last night. My usually restrained and self-controlled brother was so fierce in bed. Perhaps it's because he has practiced martial arts for many years, not a hint of fatigue all night long. The tips of his ears quickly flushed red, more vivid than the agate in his hand. Beneath the splendid attire, his waist twisted unnaturally in small, subtle movements, yet it still couldn't ease the itching sensation within. Jiangheng finally sensed something amiss and reached out once more to take my pulse. His dark brows furrowed tightly, the emotions in his eyes fading, now solely focused on my safety. The effects of the drug haven't worn off yet, Aki. Have you ever offended anyone in the palace? Only the secret medicine from the palace can achieve such repeated occurrences. Eyes misty with tears, I had no mind to listen to talk of secret medicine or not. So thirsty, I tilted my head back, stood on tiptoe, and went to find my own antidote. The residual effects of the drug lasted for a full 3 days. I was entangled with Jiang Heng for 3 days as well. During the day, I was the dignified and composed eldest daughter of the Jiang family. At night, I would lose my senses under the torment of the drug's effects, until I was completely exhausted. He would then carry me to wash up. Wait for me to marry you. In the bathtub, Jiang Heng carefully traced the contours of my eyebrows and eyes. His expression was exceptionally focused, as if handling a rare treasure. His handsome features were faintly visible in the steam, making it impossible not to feel a flutter in the heart. The heart was pounding wildly within the chest. Compared to Chu Yuni, who was solely intent on harming me, I have known my brother for many years, and with no blood ties between us, we are naturally more suited to be together. It's just that this sibling relationship is ultimately a shackle. Mortals find it difficult to break through. Moreover, my marriage to Chu Yuni was bestowed by the emperor. It cannot be annulled at will. Now, I am no longer a virgin. At first, I was solely focused on staying alive, but after calming down, I had to carefully consider the consequences. My elder brother noticed my concerns and solemnly made a promise. Trust me, Chu Yuni wants to harm you, and I have ways to make him pay the price. Make the crown prince pay the price. How can someone who has been stationed at the border for 5 years without returning to the capital manage to do that? I wanted to press for more details, but Jiang Heng wouldn't allow it. He simply pressed closer, using action to silence my words. Angrily, I bit his lip, leaving a mark, my tone carrying a hint of coquettishness I hadn't even realized was there. Brother, you're still as much of a bully as you were when we were kids. Jiang Heng, having tasted the sweetness, licked the tooth mark on his lip, his handsome face now tinged with a hint of wickedness. Wrong, it's just bullying you. Half a month had passed since the coming-of-age ceremony. Originally, the marriage between me and Chu Yuni should have been put on the agenda, yet there was still no movement. This was because many rumors about the crown prince had recently spread throughout the capital, eventually reaching the emperor's ears. One rumor claimed that the crown prince was forming cliques for personal gain, with the intention of ascending the throne early. Another said that the crown prince was unworthy of his position, having fallen in love with a lowly maid and frequently visiting brothels. There are even rumors that Chu Yuni is not the emperor's own flesh and blood. The common people only follow the crowd, and the authorities have arrested one group after another, yet they cannot find the source of the rumors. The rumors are growing more and more intense, as it concerns the royal bloodline. In order to convince the people, a blood test to verify kinship had to be conducted. This undoubtedly proves that the current emperor has listened to the rumors and begun to doubt his identity. This is a severe blow to his dignity. Chu Yuni's birth mother, consort Ning, was once the wife of the emperor's younger brother, Prince Yang. Seizing a brother's wife was already disgraceful, and now, years later, The issue of bloodline has been brought up again. Even though the blood test proved that Chu Yuni was the emperor's own son, his position as crown prince was inevitably shaken. The crown prince's faction was largely purged, leaving the Eastern Palace as nothing more than an empty shell. My marriage to the crown prince was postponed indefinitely. Lian Yang, the maid favored by Chu Yuni, was also executed by imperial decree. Everything happened within just half a month. Half a month later, I finally saw Jiang Heng again. Somehow, even though it was the same face, it gave off a completely different feeling. I used to think of him as an unapproachable elder brother, but after night, my gaze fell on his broad shoulders and narrow waist. Holding my breath, I tried to look away, attempting to forget the vivid images in my mind. My face burning, I twisted my handkerchief and spoke awkwardly. In just half a month, brother, how on earth did you manage it, no matter what? Chu Yuni is the crown prince of a nation, and ordinary people cannot shake him in the slightest. The reason he was severely hurt by rumors is that, aside from the matter of bloodline, most of what is circulated among the people is true. The emperor investigated and found every accusation to be accurate, which enraged him. Yet these pieces of information had never leaked before. How did Jiang Heng find out and spread the rumors? My brother did not answer, but simply came over and took my hand. The red agate bracelet on my wrist was strikingly vivid, just as fervent as the warmth in his palm. My face flushed like a fiery sunset. Jiang Heng forced me to meet his gaze. In the depths of his eyes, my reflection was all I could see. His slender, long-fingered hand rested on my slender waist, holding it with a gentle yet firm grasp, yet they carefully maintain boundaries, unwilling to cross the line even half a step, only igniting a wildfire in the places of friction. Good Aki. Why is your face so red? Whatever you want to know, I will tell you. Only what? My curiosity piqued. I looked up and pressed for an answer. No answer was given. Instead, I sent myself over, letting him savor me carefully. After a long while, we parted, our breaths intertwined. Hearts pounding like drums, I was kissed into a daze, my mind reduced to a muddled mess. Jiang Heng held me tightly, with such great force as if wanting to merge into my very bones and blood. The voice by my ear was firm and restrained, yet comforting. On the day of our wedding, I will tell you everything. RCI, just wait for me. Before the deed is done, I will bear all the risks. The capital has been in turmoil recently. The maid favored by the crown prince was originally to be executed, yet, before her death, she proposed to atone for her crime with merit. He revealed many of the evil deeds the crown prince had secretly committed. Among them was a scheme to ruin my reputation on the day of my coming-of-age ceremony. A strange man was found dead in the bedchamber of the Jiang family's legitimate daughter. The guests who stayed overnight that day were deeply impressed by the incident, even though the palace immediately sealed off the news. Some rumors still managed to leak out. The men of the Jiang family have guarded the border for generations, remaining loyal and upright, and they hold extremely high prestige in the court. My father, in order to protect the country and defend its borders, has not returned home for a full 5 years. As soon as the news broke, it chilled the hearts of many loyal officials. Chu Yuni's image has also plummeted to rock bottom in the hearts of everyone. He is unworthy of being the crown prince of a nation. Jiang Heng led me into the palace to request the emperor to annul the marriage. The crown prince has completely lost the support of the people. This moment is just perfect. My marriage arrangement with Chu Yuni is hereby called off. Before leaving, I turn back for one last look. It's also a way to bring closure to the past 15 years. Chu Yuni stood alone in the center of the grand hall. His silhouette appeared desolate. His beloved Lian Yang, though born a servant girl, possessed an exceptionally striking appearance, this time, by redeeming his faults with merit. He not only saved his own life but also caught the emperor's attention. That very night, she was conferred the title of noble lady, receiving the emperor's favor. Now, she attends by the dragon throne. With delicate hands, she peels grapes and feeds them to the emperor's lips, displaying all her charms. Her former lover had betrayed her overnight, and now she had become her own stepmother. I wonder what Chu Yuni in the audience must be feeling upon seeing this, when no one was paying attention. Jiang Heng took hold of my hand, his palm was scorching hot, his tone was slightly cold. "RCI, stop looking at him." Startled, I desperately tried to shrink back. The palace attendants were coming and going frequently. If anyone were to see, who knows how ugly the rumors would become. Yet Jiang Heng seemed completely unconcerned. Before being discovered by the palace maids and eunuchs, he wrapped his arms around my waist and flew into the small bamboo grove. The world spun around me. I clung to him tightly, barely managing to steady myself. Jiang Heng supported my waist, his low, magnetic voice tinged with a barely noticeable hint of grievance. "I'm better looking than him. RCI, look at me more, okay?" Bamboo shadows dappled the ground. I lifted my head and gazed at that face. Nearly divine in its casting. He swallowed subconsciously. Chu Yuni was also considered handsome and dashing, and because of his face, he had previously earned much praise among the common people. He was even called the most handsome man. But all of this was based on the fact that my brother had been in the northern desert for many years and rarely appeared in the capital. If someone were to see this face, which is more than 10 times as handsome as Chu Yuni's, I wonder if the title of the most handsome man would still fall upon him. Just thinking about how this face might, in the future, cause the women in the capital to secretly give their hearts away. Throwing fruits until the carriage is full, my heart can't help but feel stifled. A palace maid passed by. My elder brother gently pressed his finger to my lips, signaling me to stay silent. Rumors say that the legitimate daughter of the Jiang family is destined to be the phoenix. Now that her engagement with the crown prince has been called off, is it that the phoenix destiny is no longer valid? Or, TSK, just focus on your work. These are not matters we can discuss, be careful. Or you might lose your life if you're overheard. I met Jiang Heng's gaze and realized they were also looking at me. In that moment of eye contact, it felt like we were back in childhood. Jiang Heng would secretly watch me back then too. It turns out, his gaze had long ceased to be innocent. It's just that I always saw him as an elder brother and never noticed. Fortunately, discovering it now is not too late. Brother leaned down and planted a light, fleeting kiss, holding my face. He cherished it as if it were a treasure, letting out a satisfied sigh. RCI was always a phoenix. It was Chu Yuni who lacked the fortune. Fortunately, she is mine now. Since the other princes had not yet come of age, Chu Yuni's position as crown prince was temporarily not revoked. Yet it was a title in name only. He was placed under house arrest in the Eastern Palace, drowning his sorrows in wine day after day. However, the beloved for whom he was willing to ruin me, just to place the position of empress before her, was in a far better situation than he. The dignified crown prince, Lianyang, enjoyed great favor, and not long after entering the palace, the emperor intended to bestow upon her the rank of consort, completely disregarding that this person had once had a private relationship with the crown prince. He even demoted the status of Ning Guifei, the birth mother of Chu Yuni. For her sake, the court was in an uproar. The ministers argued fiercely, demanding the execution of the seductive woman who brought disaster to the country. The emperor ignored them all, indulging in pleasure and debauchery day after day. However, what was even more chaotic than the court was the frontier. The northern desert royal court colluded with over 100 nomadic tribes, intending to launch a counterattack. Father sent a letter urging my brother to return to the frontier as soon as possible. With internal troubles and external threats occurring simultaneously, the situation became increasingly turbulent. Before leaving, Jiang Heng was clad in silver armor, his appearance unparalleled. He urged me to wait for his return, gently stroking the vibrant bracelet on my wrist. I stood at the door, watching his horse gallop into the distance. Only after the crowd had dispersed did I return to the courtyard. Unconsciously, my steps led me to Jiang Heng's room. The door was ajar. In the air, it seemed as if the lingering scent of that person still remained. For the first time, I carefully observed this room, neat and elegant. Many little trinkets I gave him in my childhood were carefully preserved. I picked them up one by one to look at, unable to hold back the tears welling up in my eyes. Yet, inadvertently, I triggered a hidden mechanism. The wall slid open, revealing a hidden chamber inside. Countless portraits of young girls came into view. the papers ranged from old to new. The women in the paintings grew from young girls to graceful maidens. The painting skills also evolved from awkwardness to maturity. Aki at 5, Aki at 8, Aki at 10, Aki, Aki, Aki. The elder brother who had not returned home for 5 years. I had imagined what I would look like at my coming-of-age ceremony long before leaving home. The person in the painting was so lifelike. In secret, I had traced it countless times. Except for the one hanging on the wall, there are still some, kept in the box. Unable to resist curiosity, I opened it, but upon seeing the image on it, her face instantly flushed red. The skin on her hands also turned completely red. As if she had discovered something scalding, she tremblingly placed it back into the box, fleeing back to my own room, wrapped in the quilt. I still felt unbearably embarrassed. My heart was pounding so hard it felt like it might fly out. No wonder he wasn't the least bit awkward those few days. Once as distant and unapproachable as the pines and cypresses on the far mountains, in secret, he would actually use my portrait. The situation in the northern desert is tense and critical. Jiang has been away from the capital for 3 months. At first, we could still exchange letters. But as the war grew more intense, letters could no longer be sent. The days of waiting at home were agonizing. I simply went to the temple every day to pray for the safety of my father and brother. And because I often went out, many things inevitably reached my ears. The emperor's newly favored lotus consort is with child. The crown prince, consumed by love turned to hatred, stormed into the inner palace at night and was completely stripped of his position, to save her son's life. Consort Ning willingly shaved her head to become a nun and left the palace to cultivate her spirit. Although Chu Yuni managed to survive, he was demoted to a commoner, forever losing any chance of succession. Another month passed. Having not received any news from my brother for a long time, I felt uneasy and continued to go up the mountain every day to pray for blessings. However, on an ordinary day, I encountered bandits halfway up the mountain. The maidservant panicked and fled, leaving me alone to be dragged into a dilapidated temple, hands and feet bound, unable to move. Struggling desperately only resulted in futilely rubbing open wounds. The leader of the villains, masked, slowly removed the black veil. It was actually Chu Yuni, Xianxia. I was once betrothed to you. After all, why aren't you happy to see me? Repeated setbacks had long stripped him of his former spirit. His eyes now bloodshot, his expression had shifted from strategic composure to one of fierce obstinacy. He seized my chin, his knuckles white with effort, filled with immense resentment. What a heaven-ordained phoenix fate. Without you, I truly lost my position as crown princess. What a pity. Even if I were deposed, I would never rush to be a cuckold and marry a wanton woman who secretly carried on with my own brother. My pupils contracted sharply, and I bit down hard on his hand. But he swiftly avoided it. I was slapped in the face again, caught completely off guard. The blow was heavy and dull. The hairpin was knocked off, strands of hair stuck to the face. And the reddened palm print was clearly visible, an imperial secret drug, one that would cause sudden death without intimate relations between a man and a woman. Yet you have lived well until now, and Jiang has even covered for you. If not for the two of you having an affair, what else could it be? It is indeed strange. Ever since that day, one mishap after another has been happening around me. It's nothing more than you two adulterers deliberately seeking revenge, causing me to fall to this state. A general's daughter is no coward. Swallowing the taste of blood in my mouth, I glared at him, trying hard not to appear timid. After all this talk, do you have any evidence? If there's no evidence, then you're just slandering me, now that you are no longer the crown prince. Yet you still refer to yourself as this palace. It's clear you harbor resentment. Why take it out on others? Chu Yuni wore a half smile, not denying it. What if I am taking it out on you? After all, I have nothing left to lose, so I'm not afraid of the Jiang family's retaliation. But you, it seems you still don't know that the brother you've been longing for has already been beheaded. They say he was pierced through the heart by an arrow on the battlefield, trampled into mud by horses. Not even his bones could be found. All the credit was taken by the Yang prince's son, who has long resided in the northern deserts. And he is already on his way back to the capital. With every word he spoke, my heart grew colder, until everything before my eyes turned pitch black. Jiang Heng is dead. How could my perfectly fine elder brother just be gone like that? I don't believe it. Chu Yuni is inherently treacherous and cunning. I wouldn't believe a single word he says. Believe it or not, the fact remains that Jiang Heng is dead, and I find it utterly satisfying to hear, after years of navigating the palace. Even without evidence, my intuition tells me that my current predicament is all thanks to you and Jiang Heng. Since you and your brother share such a deep bond, I'll do you a favor and send you to reunite with him on the road to the underworld. Chu Yuni's expression was frenzied as he waved his hand, waiting only for his subordinates behind him to swarm forward. At this point, I resigned myself to fate, closed my eyes, and prepared at any moment to shatter the bracelet on my wrist and cut my own flesh. If I cannot escape this calamity today, I, Xianxia, will never allow myself to be humiliated. Yet unexpectedly, the imagined pain did not descend. Instead, the sound of clashing weapons rang out. Chu Yuni's subordinates were all slaughtered. He wanted to flee, but with all escape routes cut off, he quickly drew a dagger and held it to my neck, using me as a hostage. His eyes were bloodshot. If anyone dares to come closer, I'll kill her. However, a long arrow pierced through the air, and the dagger fell with a clang. His hand was firmly pinned to the wall. Unable to move any further, the newcomer, clad in sharp silver armor, dismounted steadily from his horse. His jade-like appearance and golden aura were tinged with the glint of blades and shadows of swords, as if he were a deity, pierced through the heart, trampled into mud. If your highness the crown prince prefers such a death, I can certainly grant it. His gaze fell upon me, and a trace of heartache flickered in Jiang Heng's eyes, yet he restrained himself and did not step forward directly. Your highness, word has come from the palace, a quarter of an hour ago. His Majesty passed away suddenly. The attendant knelt on one knee, his words clear enough for everyone to hear. Understood. Jiang Heng nodded and ordered the guards to take Chu Yuni away. The other person continued to struggle frantically, screaming hysterically. That old man is supposed to live a long life. How could he die suddenly? Jiang Heng, I never imagined you had such skills. Oh no, it's the Prince of Yang's son. Could it be that you are my half-brother? With a single glance, the attendant beside him understood the intention and immediately gagged Chu Yuni's mouth. My brother's gaze was cold and devoid of any emotion. Do you still not understand? Chu Yuni was taken aback, his expression dark and resentful, filled with confusion. Lian Yang, when you were young, spoiled and indulged by consort Ning, you acted recklessly and killed a palace maid. One of them was her sister. In the 6th year of Qianqi, you recklessly galloped through the capital, trampling an elderly woman and a young child to death, then ordered their bodies to be dragged away and fed to wild dogs. They were her mother and younger brother. In the 10th year of Qianqi, to consolidate your faction and pursue personal gain, you encouraged excessive taxes and levies, leading to the exploitation and death of many farmers, among them her elderly father. Even if I had not allied with her, you would have met this fate. The only difference would have been the timing. As Chu Yuni was dragged away, his eyes were wide with fury, yet she no longer struggled, for there is no sorrow greater than a heart that has died, until everyone had left. Only then did my elder brother dare to step forward, untying the restraints on my hands and feet, gently tucking my hair behind my ear, and caressing the slap mark on my face, his eyes brimming with such heartache it seemed ready to overflow. Does it hurt? It's all my fault for being late. Aki, why don't you hit me? When my life hung by a thread. I didn't shed a tear, but upon seeing this face I've longed for day and night, my eyes involuntarily welled up with tears. How dare I strike the heir of the Prince of Yang? Hearing the underlying meaning in his words, my brother lifted me into his arms with exceptional care. Each step was taken with unwavering resolve. Jiang Heng cannot marry Xianxia, but the Crown Prince of Yang can. RCI, would you be willing to listen to me tell you everything on our wedding day? I buried my face in his chest, listening to the familiar heartbeat beneath the armor. I hugged him back, 1,000 words ultimately condensed into a single good, extra. The dynasty changed hands, and the Prince of Yang ascended the throne. my brother was appointed as the crown prince. My wedding with him took place half a month after the new emperor ascended the throne. Amidst the clinking of glasses and lively conversations, someone couldn't help but sigh. The eldest daughter of the Jiang family truly lives up to her reputation of being destined for the Phoenix throne. In the end, she still married the crown prince. Upon hearing this, my father was both amused and exasperated, raising his glass to join in the toast. His own cabbage was being eaten by his own pig. As a father, he truly didn't know what to say, so he could only keep him company with drinks. In the bridal chamber, I hid the booklet that the wedding matron had secretly passed to me. My heart filled with unease. The illustrations in the booklet were exceptionally bold, making one blush and their heart race, but if we were to speak truthfully, they still couldn't compare to, what am I thinking? My mind shook, trying to shake off those indecent images. Inadvertently, I also shook off the bridal veil. The next moment, a hand with slender, bony fingers appeared. The veil was firmly held in his hand. My brother's eyes and brows were filled with laughter. Just like the melting snow across the mountains, too impatient. My face flushed bright red, I bit my lip, and even my neck turned pink. Let him pry open my lips and feed me the wedding wine. Moistened by the wine, the two thin lips, like his eyes, became glistening. Without waiting for me to ask, he spoke on his own. Chu Yuni and I are indeed from the same mother. Back then, in pursuit of wealth and glory, consort Ning abandoned her husband and child, and even went so far as to try to kill me to win the emperor's favor. It was my father who exchanged his fiefdom to spare my life. It's a pity that the foolish ruler always saw my existence as a disgrace. On the surface, he allowed me and my father to reside in the northern desert, but in secret, he often sent assassins. Fearing that we could never be fully prepared, my father changed my name and surname, and had me acknowledge General Jiang as my father, which led to the later identity of Jiang Heng. I held his hand, unable to hold back my heartache. My brother smiled and continued, "As for what happened later, Aki, with your sharp mind, you must have already guessed it all. Lian Yang and I used each other, each getting what we needed. Now she has avenged her grudge, and I have settled my resentment. Even marrying the one I love, it can be considered a win-win." As he spoke, I listened intently, without me noticing. My brother had taken out the notebook I had hidden, a night of springtime bliss, with a beauty in my arms. Would you like to watch it with me? In a dizzying whirl, he pinned me beneath him. Looking up from below, the contours of his muscles were faintly visible through the loose wedding robe. Truly, male beauty is captivating. In a moment of impulse, I couldn't help but blurt out, "Why look at this? It's better to look at what you've drawn." I regretted it as soon as I realized what I had said. "Oh," my brother's voice rose with a teasing lilt, and though he seemed a bit embarrassed, he was even more determined not to let me off the hook. "Did you see it all, Aki? Perfect timing. It's been months. Tonight, we should savor the memories." The red candles flickered, and the crimson waves of the quilt were tossed. I was left with nothing but sobs from the exhaustion. "Good brother, spare me." Jiang Heng, having tasted the marrow, knew the flavor and never grew weary. "Not enough, Aki. Being with you, a lifetime is not enough." After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. Add me on WeChat, MMY66618 for more popular long-form novel recommendations, and monthly subscriptions for short stories from platforms like Jihu, Jinri Tushiro, and Tomato, with proxy downloads and searches. My eldest sister is one of the most fortunate women in the capital, known for bringing prosperity to her husband. Because of this auspicious fate, she, a daughter of a concubine, was chosen by the Duke's household to be married as the principal wife to bring good fortune. Before her wedding, my eldest sister was worried about me and arranged for me to marry alongside her. She became the wife, and I became the concubine. I was overjoyed. I made a scene at the Chu residence, forcing my father to agree. However, the Duke's household refused, looking down on me as a fool, saying that taking me in would disgrace the reputation of the Duke's household. My elder sister said that if I didn't marry, She wouldn't marry either. The Duke's mansion had no choice but to compromise. In March, when peach blossoms filled the garden, my elder sister and I were carried into the Duke's mansion at the same time, on the wedding night. I snatched off the red veil first and fought with the guards blocking the entrance to the bridal chamber. Rumors spread thereafter that the two daughters of the censor fought fiercely over who would share the bed, nearly reviving the Duke with rage. My sister calmly reassured me, "It's all right, as long as the three of us live well together. That's what matters most." But 2 months later, when the Duke recovered from his illness, my eldest sister handed over a divorce petition. Since my eldest sister wants to leave, then I want to leave too. A month ago, the seriously ill Shi gradually began to improve. This also confirmed that my elder sister had a fate that brought prosperity to her husband, which made countless families in the capital envious. However, my mother-in-law, Lady Jiang, was always very critical of my elder sister. She disliked her gentle nature, her lowly background, and the fact that she brought me, a burden, along with her. So, within a couple of days, Lady Jiang brought a young woman back to the mansion. The moment the young lady entered the mansion, she eagerly rushed to Shi's room, calling out cousin with every breath. Pei Minute said her name was Jiang Yilan, the daughter of Shi's uncle. From that day on, Jiang Yilan settled in the Kui residence and even took over the task of caring for Shi from my elder sister. My elder sister didn't mind either. She took me to stroll through the garden, admire the flowers, and watch me practice martial arts, never again stepping into Shi's courtyard. But Jiang Yilan was not one to be easily appeased. She stopped my elder sister and me in the garden to mock us, a concubine-born daughter, daring to cling to the position of the main wife for our cousin, truly shameless. "And you, little fool, what kind of person is our cousin, even if he were to take a concubine? A fool like you would never be worthy." My eldest sister didn't react to the first sentence, but as soon as she finished the second one, she slapped her across the face. I, on the other hand, was different. As soon as she finished the first sentence, I shook awake little Flower Master, who was coiled around my wrist. It's just that my eldest sister had hit someone, and I was too scared to let little Flower Master out. Jiang Yilan's sharp scream almost tore through my eardrums. She snarled furiously, "Chu Wanru, how dare you hit me?" My elder sister sneered coldly, "I hit you, so what? Do I need to pick a special day to hit you?" I raised my hands and applauded. "Elder sister is amazing. I like her more and more." Jiang Yilan pointed at her elder sister. You. Unable to come up with a reasonable explanation. In the end, she flicked her sleeve and left with a parting shot. "You just wait." Then she stormed off in a rage. The elder sister rolled her eyes. "You look so hideous, why would I wait for you?" I wholeheartedly agreed and followed my elder sister back to Chunxiang courtyard. To prevent Jiang Yilan from complaining to Lady Jiang, my elder sister immediately took the initiative by having someone spread the words Jiang Yilan had spoken in the courtyard. Before long, the entire estate knew that Jiang Yilan, a cousin from her aunt's side, had dared to intrude and insult the Duchess who had saved the Duke's life. Once the rumors began to spread, even if Lady Jiang had the intention to stand up for Jiang Yilan, she had no choice but to let the matter drop. She could not let the rumors that the Duke's mansion was ungrateful and mistreated its savior become substantiated. Not only could she not step forward, but to quell the rumors, Lady Jiang had to put on a show and punish Jiang Yilan. Afterward, clutching her chest, she sent many fine gifts to the eldest sister's courtyard as an apology. When the gifts arrived in the courtyard, the eldest sister pulled me over and happily tucked a cloud rabbit hairpin into my hair. "My Wanling is truly beautiful." I immediately squinted my eyes and smiled at my elder sister. "Elder sister is beautiful too." I thought that after suffering a silent loss, Jiang Yilan would understand that my elder sister was not to be trifled with. Who would have thought she would set her sights on me? On the Xianxia festival, Jiang Yilan said she would take me to see a shadow puppet show. I didn't want to go with her, but my eldest sister had been so busy with the ancestral worship preparations lately that she had no time to accompany me. Little Flower Master kept flicking its tongue at me, indicating it wanted to go. I reluctantly agreed. Who would have thought that not only did I not get to see the shadow puppetry, but I was also tricked into the arena by her. Little fool, today I'm going to teach you a lesson. Jiang Yilan stood behind the iron bars, proudly looking at me with a smug smile. As I was frowning, a heavy iron door let out a sharp, grating creak and swung wide open. Little Flower Master coiled tightly around my wrist with a swift whoosh, continuously hissing warnings. Before long, a massive tiger, over 10 feet in length, with glossy fur, bulging muscles, and piercing eyes set against a white forehead, emerged from the darkness with an elegant stride. Little fool, see that? This is a ferocious beast from the western regions. A tribute to the court. You're about to be torn to shreds. Jiang Yilan gloated behind me, and seeing that I didn't react, she thought I was scared. Ha ha ha, you little fool, scared out of your wits, aren't you? If you kneel down and beg me now, I might just be merciful enough to have someone let you out. She couldn't see it, but the corners of my mouth were slowly curling up, my eyes brimming with excitement. Big cat, come here, amidst the astonished gazes of everyone present. I beckoned to the big tiger. Is this little fool trying to get herself killed, daring to provoke Princess Xianxia's beast? Truly, ignorance is bliss. That fierce tiger of the princess has already torn apart 3 animal trainers. With her small frame, does she expect the tiger to show mercy? I paid no heed to the surrounding whispers, my eyes fixed excitedly on the great tiger before me. The tiger circled me slowly, then suddenly lifted its head to look toward the stands, puzzled. I turned and saw a gorgeously dressed young lady walking down. Everyone shut up, Jiang Yilan. Who gave you permission to let people into the arena without authorization? If something happens, will you take responsibility? Her sharp shout silenced everyone. Jiang Yilan's face also paled slightly. Then she pointed at me and said, Princess, this is the fool from the Chu family. Haven't you always said she disgraces the Duke's household? Yilan did this to teach her a lesson on your behalf. To make her understand her own worth, I glanced at Da Hu, who seemed hesitant, and immediately understood. This is his master, Princess Xianxia. Princess Xianxia's expression changed. She raised an eyebrow, looked at me, and smiled at the corner of her mouth. Oh, so it's the 3rd young lady of the Chu family. I've heard that although the 3rd young lady is a bit of a fool, she also possesses remarkable skills. It just so happens that I, the princess, would like to witness them today. As she spoke, she gestured to the tiger and calmly took a seat. The tiger had been listening intently, but upon seeing the gesture, it grew much more agitated. Its fur instantly bristled, and it let out a furious roar directly at me. Shut up, my expression darkened, and I instantly found it far less adorable. I leaped up and punched it right between the eyes. Big Tiger staggered back 2 steps, shaking its large head several times, then began circling me cautiously again. Bye. What's wrong with you? Go on, attack. Princess Xianxia angrily scolded the big tiger. As soon as her words fell, a chorus of cheers erupted from the stands. Go on, tear her apart, bite her, big tiger, she's just a little girl. Amidst the urging voices, the big tiger let out an irritated low growl, then raised its front legs and charged at me again with ferocious speed. Master Xiaohua's tail tapped lightly on the back of my hand. I chuckled and charged toward the big tiger. Then leaned back and wrapped my arms around its body from beneath its belly, grabbing the fur on its back. I pushed off the ground with my palm and flipped onto its back before it could land. The big tiger jumped left and right, trying to shake me off, but I clung tightly to its fur and wrapped my legs firmly around its belly. It began running around the arena, listening to the wind in my ears. I shouted excitedly, riding the big cat Tilda. You little wretch, get down from there right now. I haven't even ridden by myself. Who do you think you are? Princess Xianxia angrily yelled from the viewing stand. I don't care about her, Wanling, in her whole life. Only listens to her eldest sister, Wanling Tilda. Just as she thought of her eldest sister's voice came over. I keenly detected the tremor in my elder sister's voice and turned my head toward the source of the sound. I saw my elder sister clinging to the fence, with faint tears glistening in her eyes. I grew anxious, leaped off the tiger's back, and hurriedly rushed to my elder sister's side. Elder sister, why are you crying? Did someone bully you? My elder sister grabbed my hand through the fence, looking me up and down. How did you end up in the arena? Are you hurt? I shook my head, then pointed at Jiang Yilan and answered truthfully. She tricked Wanling into coming here. Don't worry, sister, Wanling was just playing with the big cat. Elder sister glanced at Da who was lying on the ground panting heavily from exhaustion. After a few deep breaths, her chest gradually steadied. Did Wanling have fun? If you're done playing, let's go home, okay? I gave elder sister a sweet smile. Okay. Elder sister let go of my hand, dashed over to Jiang Yilan in a few quick steps, and slapped her hard across the face again. Jiang Yilan, however you got my sister in there, you'll get her out the same way, otherwise, Chu Wanru, will make you understand what it means to wish you were dead. Jiang Yilan covered her face, her complexion flushed with anger, yet she dared not do anything to her elder sister at that moment. Princess Yingyang stood up, casting a disdainful glance at the elder sister. Oh, the Duchess is so formidable. I am curious to know, how exactly will the Duchess make Miss Jiang wish she were dead? Jiang Yilan's eyes were still red, her expression shifting instantly from humiliation to a smug provocation. Chu Wanru, how dare you be so insolent in front of the princess? My elder sister turned around calmly and bowed respectfully to the princess. It is well known that His Majesty is benevolent and the princess has always been kind-hearted, yet today, Miss Jiang dares to incite the princess to pit humans against beasts, treating human lives as worthless. If this matter were to spread, not only would the princess's reputation be tarnished, but the royal family's honor would also suffer. The malicious intent of Miss Jiang is evident, and I merely took it upon myself to teach her a lesson on behalf of the princess. Princess Yingyang's face stiffened, and she immediately turned and slapped Jiang Yilan. You treacherous Jiang Yilan, I almost fell for your trick. Hurry up and get the person out. Jiang Yilan covered one side of her face, feeling extremely wronged but not daring to utter a word. She shot a venomous glance at her elder sister before rushing to the door to order the guards to open it. Princess Yingyang then said to her elder sister with a sinister tone, the eldest daughter of the Chu family truly has a way with words. I have learned much. My elder sister tilted her head and remained silent, her attention entirely focused on me. Just as I was about to step out of the iron gate, a wave of gasps suddenly erupted from the stands. Wanling, get out of the way quickly. As my eldest sister's scream rang out, a swift, whistling sound came from behind. Instinctively, I kicked the doorframe of the iron gate and drifted sideways. With this dodge, the big tiger rushed out of the arena. Its eyes were bloodshot. It glanced at me, then turned and pounced on Jiang Yilan beside it. My elder sister seized the opportunity to rush to my side, pulling me close and examining me once more. After confirming I was unharmed, she shielded me behind her. Keeping a wary eye on the tiger, Jiang Yilan was frozen in place by the tiger's presence, only able to cry. A guard pushed her aside and used his long staff to block the tiger's jaws. The tiger bit down on the staff, shook it forcefully, flung the guard away, and then resumed its pursuit of Jiang Yilan. Jiang Yilan didn't hesitate this time. She scrambled to her feet and rushed toward Princess Yingyang. Princess, save me. Princess Yingyang, her face pale, pointed at the tiger with forced composure and scolded it. Big White, sit down. Master Xiaohua let out his sounds. It said, how foolish, how could the king of the forest ever be content with being kept in captivity? Its past submission was merely for survival. Now that it has broken free, why would it ever willingly obey a human again? Sure enough, without a moment's hesitation, Da who leaped high into the air, lunging toward Jiang Yilan and Princess Yingyang. Tilda help. Jiang Yilan let out a cry of despair. Phut Tilda. Blood splattered all over Jiang Yilan's face and drenched Princess Yingyang. A sharp arrow pierced through the tiger's head. All eyes turned to the entrance of the stands, where Kui Shi stood draped in a snow-white fox fur cloak, the curved bow in his hand still trembling. The next moment, the bow fell to the ground. He covered his mouth with a handkerchief, coughing until he doubled over. Jiang Yilan let out a piercing wail as she scrambled up from the ground and rushed into Kui Shi's arms. Woo-woo Tilda cousin, Yilan is so scared. Yilan thought she would never see you again in this lifetime. Kui Shi's slender hand patted Jiang Yilan's shoulder but did not push her away. Elder sister's face darkened as she took my hand and walked step by step toward the two of them. I couldn't help but shrink back. Elder sister is angry. Master Xiaohua also shrank back into my wrist, not daring to make the slightest sound. As we approached, Kui Shi raised a pair of cold, phoenix-like eyes to look at us, the red mole beneath them appearing particularly enchanting. The eldest sister's lips curved upward. Yet there was not a trace of a smile in her eyes. I had thought that the Duke's household chose Wanru without regard for social status, but I never imagined it would be such a perilous den. If you can't stand Wanru's humble background, then just divorce her. Why go so far as to ruin a life? Wanru will write the divorce letter, pack up her dowry, and wait for the Duke in Chunxiang courtyard. My eyes widened instantly. Elder sister wants a divorce. All around was a deathly silence. Even Jiang Yilan couldn't help but lift her head from Kui Shi's embrace, looking at her elder sister with an expression of disbelief. I bit my lip, thought for a moment, and immediately followed in my elder sister's footsteps. Wanling will also write the divorce agreement and wait for you to come. Jiang Yilan gave me a sidelong glance and sneered. You're just a concubine. What right do you have to ask for a divorce? At most, you'd be dismissed with a letter of release. Oh, I nodded and immediately changed my words. Wanling will write the letter of release and wait for you to come. Kui Shi arrived at Chunxiang courtyard a day later. My elder sister and I had long since packed our trunks and had our trusted aides purchase a house on Gold Blessing Street. Now that Kui Shi had arrived, we immediately placed the divorce agreement and a letter of release for the concubine before him. Knowing that the Duke is busy with affairs, we dare not trouble you to worry about this. The divorce agreement and the letter of release have already been drafted. The Duke need only sign them. Kui Shi, however, seemed to take no notice of the two letters, coughing as he placed the tiger skin in his hand on top of them. I heard Wanling likes this big cat. But it's dangerous and really not suitable for keeping. How about taking this tiger skin to play with instead? I was somewhat tempted by the glossy tiger skin, but after cautiously glancing at my elder sister's expression, I immediately took a step back. My elder sister curled the corner of her lips, smiling faintly as she pushed the tiger skin forward. What does the Duke mean by this? To coax you? My elder sister's pupils trembled, and she looked up at Kui Shi. He had no idea how incongruous those two words sounded coming from his cold, aloof face. The eldest sister chuckled lightly. That Duke seems quite busy indeed. However, for those of humble birth like Wanru and Wanling, we dare not trouble the Duke. Please return. I watched with a pang of heartache as my eldest sister returned the white tiger pelt to Kui Shi's hands, then placed the letter on top of it and ushered him out of the courtyard gate. Seeing the reluctance in my eyes, my eldest sister turned back and immediately began to comfort me softly. Wanling likes tiger skin. Later, I'll have someone buy 2 fine pieces to make a mattress for you. All right, I nodded eagerly, gesturing to my elder sister. It should be as soft and shiny as a big cat, and beautiful. My elder sister patted my head, her face full of affection. All right, Tilda. My elder sister and I moved to Gold Blessing Street. When we were moving, Jiang Yilan came running over, gloating and sneering. Some people really think they're something special, using divorce to scare cousin. Now they've been kicked out, haven't they? With her making such a fuss, the servants in the mansion really thought we had been kicked out by Kui Shi. No one stopped us, and no one went to report it. My elder sister took my hand and whispered to me. In this way, that fool actually helped us. Although I didn't understand what my elder sister meant, I still curved my eyes into crescents. But as soon as we arrived at the new courtyard, my elder sister ordered the servants to keep a close watch on me, forbidding me from running out alone again. She even specially hired 2 skilled uncles from the martial arts troupe to accompany me. Wanling, from today on, you must get your elder sister's permission before going anywhere. Understand? I opened my innocent eyes wide, pouted, and nodded. Elder sister sighed and patted my head. Wanling, I can't bear another incident like the one at the Colosseum. I was puzzled. What happened at the Colosseum? Wanling clearly wasn't injured, but my maid, Yueshi, said that day, my elder sister couldn't find me and was frantic with worry. She kept blaming herself along the way for being too busy and not taking better care of me. After hearing Yueshi's words, I also felt very guilty. Feeling guilty, I hung up Master Xiaohua. Master Xiaohua, tell me, will you still be so playful next time? Master Xiaohua, hissed Tilda. Only a day had passed. Rumors spread throughout the capital, claiming that the Duke's mansion had betrayed trust and abandoned those who had served their purpose. After using up the good fortune of the eldest daughter of the Chu family to bring prosperity to her husband, they cast her aside. Kui Shi, seated in a wheelchair, arrived carrying a box of jewelry and that white tiger pelt, when his elder sister refused to see him. He had Pei Minute climb over the wall to deliver the items. When Pei Minute entered, the uncles guarding the courtyard turned a blind eye. When Pei Minute tried to leave, the uncles all rushed forward and gave him a beating. As if deliberately trying to humiliate Pei Minute, they slashed his clothes to shreds. I widened my eyes curiously on the roof, staring at the 8-pack abs Pei Minute had revealed. Pei Min's ears turned red, and with a loud shout, he shook off the uncles and leaped over the courtyard wall. Curious, I ran to ask my elder sister why Pei Min's stomach looked like that. It was strangely good-looking, and I wanted one too. My elder sister stormed out with a dark expression, making the uncles stand in a row in the courtyard, balancing water jars on their heads for several hours. Even Kui Shi was scolded in a letter from his elder sister. Not 2 days later, father came to Jinfu Street. When he saw my elder sister and me, he immediately launched into a scolding. Marrying into a family like the Duke's residence, what more could you want? She's just a niece from your mother's side. As long as you don't move, she can't possibly surpass you no matter how much she tries. Elder sister gave father a cold glance, not answering but instead asking a question. Father, have you heard about the incident at the arena? Father choked for a moment, then waved his hand dismissively. It was just a bit of mischief, and Wanling didn't suffer any losses. Why dwell on it? You can't let the Chu family's future be jeopardized over such a trivial matter. Elder sister tightened her grip on my hand, her eyes filled with both anger and disappointment. Didn't father say that a married daughter is like water spilled on the ground? Since it's spilled water, why should father interfere with how Wanling and I choose to live our lives from now on? What does the future of the Chu family have to do with us? You, father's face flushed with anger. But he flicked his sleeve and said indignantly, if you're this stubborn, who would dare take you if you truly leave the Duke's mansion? As soon as the words fell, the steward hurried in. Miss, there are many matchmakers outside the door, saying they want to hire you as the principal wife, and they don't mind Miss Wanling either. The engagement boxes are piled up so tightly at the main gate that one can hardly move. Father was speechless. I heard that Kui Shi fell ill as soon as he returned. The illness came on suddenly and fiercely, leaving him bedridden and unconscious. Several doctors were called to the house, but they all left shaking their heads. Within 2 days of the news spreading, Jiang Yilan moved back to the Jiang family overnight. Outside, people were saying that the Duke's household was facing retribution. The Duke had been gravely ill, and it was only after marrying the eldest sister that his condition improved, but they didn't cherish this blessing and drove her out of the house. And now, look, he's fallen ill again, hasn't he? When the maid relayed these words to Lady Jiang, she was filled with deep regret. Immediately, she took the most valuable items from the storeroom and personally went to Jinfu Street to fetch someone. Just as she arrived at the gate, she saw matchmakers lined up for 2 miles in front of the mansion. Jiangsha was frantically driving them away. How dare you, my husband, the Duke, is still alive, and you come to propose marriage? Are you mocking the Duke's mansion for having no one left? The matchmakers looked at Lady Jiang in astonishment. Your Duke's manor has already divorced Lady Runsu, so why are you forbidding others from coming to propose marriage? Exactly. Does your Duke's manor think that if you don't want someone, no one else is allowed to want them either? How utterly domineering. Lady Jiang's eyes reddened with anxiety. Who said anything about divorce? It's just a little spat between husband and wife, and my daughter-in-law moved out to clear her head for a while. But this was said by the Jiang family's daughter herself. How could it be false? Isn't that Jiang family's daughter currently staying at your Duke's residence? At this moment, Lady Jiang truly hated Jiang Yilan to the core. She immediately sent someone back to the residence to fetch the marriage certificate and held it up in front of the mansion gate. Take a good look, everyone. The eldest daughter of the Chu family is still the bride of our duke's residence. Don't waste your efforts in vain, seeing the marriage certificate. No matter how unwilling these matchmakers were, they could only leave dejectedly. What a pity. The young master of the Wang family has been plagued by illness for a long time and just wanted to borrow a bit of the Chu family's eldest daughter's fortune-bringing luck for her husband. Who would have thought that the Duke's mansion still hasn't released her? Sigh, exactly. The young man from the Sai family has repeatedly failed the imperial examinations and was also hoping for the Chu family's eldest daughter's fortune-bringing luck, which might even boost his official career. That's why he specially brought heavy gifts to propose marriage. Unfortunately, even though Madame Jiang drove away so many matchmakers, she still couldn't get through the mansion's gate. The Jiang family now dares not offend the eldest sister, so they have no choice but to sit in front of the mansion day after day, waiting in bitter anticipation, hoping just to catch a glimpse of her. Yueying, the chief maid by the eldest sister's side, offered a word of advice. Miss, the Jiang family is, after all, your mother-in-law now. It's not quite proper to leave her waiting outside like this. Perhaps you could meet with her once, to avoid any gossip from outsiders. The eldest sister merely glanced up at her and immediately demoted her to a third-class maid. Yueying tearfully sought out Yueshi to pour out her grievances, saying, I was only thinking of what's best for the eldest sister. Yueshi sneered, it's a good thing you were thinking of the young lady. Or she would have kept you in the courtyard, otherwise, she would have long demoted and sold you off. What kind of person is the young lady? You've been with her for so many years. Don't you know she has the firmest of minds? Do you really need your chattering reminders? Yueshi's image suddenly grew tall and imposing in my heart. It was the 5th day that Lady Jiang had been exposed to the wind and sun at the door. Seeing that her elder sister had no intention of meeting her, she gritted her silver teeth and returned to her residence, ordering someone to carry Kui Shi to the gate of our mansion. My daughter-in-law, after all, this husband is your own, if you don't even care whether he lives or dies. I, as his mother, truly have no other choice. After saying this, she left behind a few servants and walked away. Kui Shi lay on the small bed, coughing incessantly with his eyes closed, even though the quilt was tightly wrapped around him, coughing and coughing. He even coughed up blood. My elder sister frowned as she looked at the gloomy sky outside, and finally waved her hand to have him carried inside. Strangely enough, on the 3rd day after Kui Shi was carried into the mansion, he was able to get out of bed. He got out of bed and started running to his eldest sister's courtyard every day. Every time he went to his eldest sister's courtyard, Pei Minute would coax me to go out and play with him. I was reluctant at first. But the candid haws he brought were always exceptionally delicious. But one day, when Pei Minute and I returned from shopping, my eldest sister's lips were swollen and her eyes were red. I was furious. Pei Minute, you tricked me into leaving just so your master could bully my elder sister, didn't you? Pei Minute let out a confused her, and stared blankly at Kui Shi. He saw his master with a slight smile at the corner of his lips, looking utterly satisfied, as I threw a punch at him. Kui Shi simply tilted his head to dodge it. I never bullied your elder sister. If you don't believe me, ask her. I looked at my elder sister with a mix of doubt and curiosity, only to see her blush. Wanling, stop making a fuss, it's time for dinner. I hadn't figured it out yet when my elder sister lowered her head and walked out. Kui Shi followed behind, strolling leisurely, always keeping a step's distance behind my elder sister. I felt gloomy inside. And even my usual favorite dongpa pork lost its appeal. Gloomily putting down my bowl and chopsticks, I climbed back onto the roof, sitting dejectedly on the eaves to catch the breeze. Pei Minute came up to find me, holding a string of bright red candied hawthorns in his hand. Third miss, are you in a bad mood? I turned my head away awkwardly. Not at all. He poked his own nose, leaned over to look at me, stretched too far, and tumbled down head first. I blinked at him, not understanding how he could have fallen. After all, I come up here often and have never fallen down. You're really dumb. Pei Minute awkwardly scratched the back of his head, then flew up again, leaning against the corridor pillar. He extended his index finger in front of me. I'm not dumb, I'm injured. Look. I held his finger and examined it carefully for a long while before noticing a black line on it, with a slight redness around the edges. It does seem to be injured. Oh. I nodded and let go of his hand, but he leaned in again. Would you mind helping me treat the wound? Third miss. I point at myself, a curve forming at the corner of my mouth. Are you sure you want me to do it? It's no wonder I'm excited after all. In the past, whether I was injured or someone else was, my elder sister never allowed me to touch the wound. This is the first time someone has actively asked me to help with treatment. Pei Minute nodded, once again bringing his finger close to me. I took out a handkerchief, smiled and glanced at him once more. With his encouragement, I began rubbing the black line with the handkerchief. In the past, whenever I injured myself while practicing martial arts, my elder sister would always clean the dirt from the wound first, but Pei Minute suddenly cried out, Third miss, that's a scab, you shouldn't pick at it so hard. Third miss, please don't keep picking at the wound. After a long while, I bit my finger, unable to understand why Pei Min's wound seemed to get worse the more I tried to treat it. Is he seriously injured? Master Xiaohua has been very angry lately. It kept whipping me with its tail, scolding me for not practicing for 6 days. But I really don't have the heart to practice. Kui Shi has been monopolizing my eldest sister, causing me to spend less than 2 hours with her over the past 6 days combined. Kui Shi is such a scoundrel. I've decided to sneak under Kui Shi's bed tonight and have Little Flower Master bite him. To prevent Pei Minute from stopping me, I dragged him along as well. Third miss, we should still leave. If the master finds out, he'll beat me to death. I found him noisy, so I directly sealed his acupoints. When we heard footsteps approaching, both of us instinctively held our breath. Shiyi, I think we should send WN Ling away first. It was my elder sister's voice. My vision instantly blurred. Why did my elder sister want to send me away? Did she dislike me? Did she not want me anymore? Yes, not only will she leave, but you will go too. Once the situation in the capital becomes clear, I will have Pei Minute bring you back. Kui Shi's words instantly brightened my eyes again. So it's my elder sister walking with me. That's wonderful. Once that scoundrel Kui Shi is gone, my elder sister will be by my side again. But before I could even feel happy, my elder sister's words made me unable to hold back and rush out from under the bed. My elder sister's voice was gentle, filled with a deep affection I couldn't understand. She, didn't we agree? From now on, wherever you are, I'll be there too. Nothing can ever separate us again. Elder sister also told me she would take me with her wherever she goes. Both Kui Shi and her elder sister looked at me in shock, then glanced under the bed. But I, with tears welling up in my eyes, snorted angrily and ran out. I returned to my room and buried myself under the covers, sulking. It turned out that my elder sister had made promises not just with me alone. Now, to keep her promise with Kui Shi, she had already abandoned me. It was only a short while before my elder sister pushed the door open and entered. She sat by the bedside, gently stroking the long hair at the back of my head, and told me a story. It turned out that my elder sister and Kui Shi had known each other for a long time and had feelings for each other. However, due to social status differences and political faction conflicts, Kui Shi had never revealed his relationship with my elder sister. It wasn't until Kui Shi was assassinated that he seized the opportunity to devise a plan that would kill 2 birds with 1 stone. He feigned a serious illness to deceive his enemies, while also taking the opportunity to have his subordinates spread the reputation that his elder sister was destined to bring good fortune to her husband. In truth, after word of his elder sister's auspicious fate spread, there were quite a few suitors, but Kui Shi secretly sabotaged them all. It wasn't until the Jiang family could no longer sit still and went to the Chu residence to propose marriage. Among all these suitors, the Duke's household held the highest social status. A man like my father would naturally choose whoever had the most power and could benefit the Chu family. As for my mother, although she had never liked my eldest sister, she was concerned that the Duke was seriously ill, and my sister would likely end up a widow if she married him. Thus, the marriage was quickly agreed upon. After my eldest sister married into the family, Kui Shi achieved his goal and, of course, recovered from his illness swiftly. It's just that none of them expected the Jiang family to turn their backs and deny everything, and even bring Jiang Yilan back home again. Jiang Yilan had indeed long been fond of Kui Shi, but after news of Kui Shi's critical illness spread, she didn't want to become a widow, so the idea of a joyous wedding to ward off illness was something she never even considered. As soon as Kui Shi's condition showed any sign of improvement, she eagerly came running back. The reason my elder sister never went back to Kui Shi's courtyard was that she wanted to give him enough time to deal with these people and matters, but Jiang Yilan should never, under any circumstances, have set her sights on me. It was only then that my elder sister began to consider the idea of divorce, and everything that followed was actually intentional on Kui Shi's part. To show his loyalty to his elder sister, he deliberately pretended to be on the verge of death again. Scaring Jiang Yilan away and allowing the Jiang family to see her true nature, I lay on my elder sister's lap, asking her in a muffled voice, "What does it mean to be devoted?" My elder sister let out a long sigh, gently stroking my embroidered hair over and over. To be infatuated means your whole heart is occupied by that person, thinking of them constantly, doing everything for them. I responded groggily, not quite understanding, but feeling a bit sleepy, just before falling asleep. I startled awake several times, always feeling like I had forgotten something, but when you're sleepy, your brain just doesn't want to work anymore. The next day, when I saw Pei Minute again, I only noticed that his walking posture was very strange. He was limping. He gave me a deeply resentful look and said, "Next time you run, third miss, please remember to take me with you." I was knocked out by a cup of wine from my eldest sister. In my dazed state, I seemed to hear her say many things. The clearest thing I heard was that sentence, "Wanling, you must live well, carrying on for your elder sister as well." I woke up to the swaying of the carriage. As I turned over and sat up, little Flower Master was anxiously pacing in circles beside me. I drew the dagger from my boot, lifted the carriage curtain, and pressed it against Pei Min's neck. "Go back. Wanling is not going anywhere. She only wants to stay with her elder sister." Pei Min's eyes were red, but he did not turn back. "You can't go back, third miss. All the city gates have been closed, and the capital is under martial law." "I don't understand." She only pursed her lips and glanced up at the galloping horse, then removed the dagger, pressed her palm against Pei Min's shoulder, and flipped through the air before landing on the horse's back. "Third miss, what are you doing?" I didn't want to pay attention to Pei Minute. Puffing out my cheeks, I cut the carriage's harness rope, then, I pulled on the reins, turned the horse around, and without the slightest hesitation, galloped back toward the capital. I don't know the way, but fortunately, Master Xiaohua gave me directions. Pei Minute quickly caught up on another horse. By the time we returned to the capital, the city gates were wide open, and the entire area was engulfed in the chaos of battle, with shouts and clashes echoing everywhere. Pei Minute and I rushed all the way back to the mansion on Jinfu Street. The gate of the mansion had collapsed, and the bodies of servants lay scattered in the courtyard, with blood everywhere. I was terrified and desperately rushed toward my elder sister's courtyard, shouting as I ran, only to collide head-on with Yueshi, who was also running frantically. Yueshi hugged me, crying, while I anxiously asked, "Where is my elder sister? Yueshi, where is my elder sister?" Yueshi released me, wiped away her tears, and then told me that my eldest sister had entered the palace, but the palace gates were tightly shut, and the corridor was eerily quiet. I used all my strength to pound on the door, but the golden gate remained unmoved. Pei Minute pulled me aside and pointed to the moat nearby. "Enter from here." Without a moment's hesitation, I immediately jumped down. The moat's current was swift, but fortunately, both Pei Minute and I were strong swimmers. By the time we surfaced, we had already reached the inner palace. I immediately spotted my eldest sister, who was being held hostage between the two armies locked in a stalemate, and the one holding my eldest sister hostage was Princess Yingyang. "Kui Shi, as long as you hand over the imperial decree and pledge your allegiance to me and the eldest prince, I will release your wife. How about that?" I stared at the long blade in her hand, my eyes already burning with a murderous intent. Pei Minute held me down. "Third miss, don't act rashly, you might hurt madam." "How could I ever hurt my elder sister?" never in this lifetime. I placed little flower master on the shore. With just one glance, we understood each other perfectly. Master Xiaohua silently swam over. Kui Shi remained silent, and Yingyang grew somewhat impatient. Lord Kui, it seems you don't care that much about your wife after all. I will give you one last chance. I will count to 10. Whether you throw away the imperial decree or I throw away a head is entirely up to you, Lord. With that, she began to count. 10, 9, 8. With each number she counted, Kui Shi and I clenched our fists tighter. 3. Master Xiaohua finally entered the crowd. The moment he was discovered, Master Xiaohua slapped his snake tail hard on the ground, and his entire serpentine body shot toward Princess Yingyang. Ah, a snake. Princess Yingyang let out a shriek and instinctively pushed her elder sister toward Master Xiaohua, while she herself quickly retreated into the crowd. Master Xiaohua collided with the elder sister, who recognized him and caught him in her arms. Kui Shi acted swiftly as well, immediately stepping forward to shield the elder sister in his embrace. Pay minute and I had long since jumped out of the water, dodging left and right through the crowd. My body always managed to twist into unbelievable angles, leaving the enemies stunned. Pay minute didn't go looking for Kui Shi either. Instead, he stayed by my side, protecting me the whole time. With his help, I quickly made my way to Princess Yingyang's side. Got you. Yingyang turned around in terror. In that very moment, I swiftly slit her throat, wanting my elder sister's head. What kind of thing are you? The eldest prince has been defeated. He was already defeated from the start. Kui Shi and the third prince had long since laid out all their plans, and the eldest prince's men, once they entered the palace, became like turtles trapped in a jar. It was only because Yingyang had taken the eldest sister hostage that he was able to hold out against Kui Shi for so long. His final struggle was only for that old emperor's edict. The edict explicitly named the third prince as the successor, but the eldest prince believed that as long as he altered the edict, he still had a chance. On the day the third prince ascended the throne, he asked me if I wanted to become a princess. I stared at him for a long moment and asked, "Who are you?" Then I didn't become a princess. After that incident, I ignored my elder sister for 3 days, who told her to deceive me and send me away. This time, I must stay angry longer to teach her a profound lesson. But my elder sister had no intention of comforting me at all. She and Kui Shi were so busy all day that they were nowhere to be seen. I was very sad, feeling that I no longer had a place in my elder sister's heart. While sitting on the flying eaves, lost in sorrow, Pay Minute came to keep me company again. I stared at Pay Minute, and the more I looked, the more my grievances swelled up inside me, until I finally burst into tears. Pay Minute frantically helped me wipe away my tears, and before I knew it, I was in his arms. I don't know how. But even in the midst of my intense crying, I remembered Pei Min's stomach, where his clothes had been torn by the uncles. Without realizing it, my hand reached out and touched it. Pei Minute stiffened, then, with a face flushed bright red, grabbed my hand. Wanling, his way of addressing me had changed. I was no longer the third miss of the past. Tears welled up in my eyes as I stood there, dazed, waiting for him to continue. The master said he can give you a letter of divorce. From now on, I will follow you, never leaving your side. What do you think? I shook my head in a daze. Why are you following me? I need to stay with my elder sister. It doesn't matter. Pei Minute gestured to me anxiously. Look, the lady follows the master, you follow the lady, and I follow you. We're still together. I blinked my eyes. This fool was trying to trick me. But no way. I pushed him away and jumped off the roof. Don't even think about tricking Wanling. Wanling will never be apart from her elder sister in this lifetime. Just then, my elder sister walked over, patted my head, and handed a stick of candied hawthorn to my lips. I will never be separated from Wanling in this lifetime. I bit into the candied hawthorn and gave my elder sister a sweet smile. The candied hawthorn was so sweet. After hearing the 2 stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my